What's good with the YouTube? You already know Big Flocka with a convict's perspective, and I'm gonna smash, dash, and slide on through that little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel. Hit that bell notification for future fire content, man. And I hope everybody's having a blessed, positive weekend, man. I had an interesting trip, as you guys know. It was more traveling than anything. I went to a world premiere of a movie, 1 second at a time, battling a monster addiction. Which they're putting in together to get distributors that are making offers to distribute the movie. So hopefully in the next week or two or month, you're going to see it drop. But it was an exciting event. But the travel, don't ever go Frontier Airlines, guys. They are by far the worst of the worst. So as you can tell by the thumbnail, we're going to talk about Beto Avila, Alberto Avila, from San. Okay, now everybody knows regarding the Brown Bob hit, right? Everybody's talked about it, and everybody emphasizes Brown Bob because of who he was. He was a past NF general, been a long time NF member since the 70s. This hit was well regarded as one of the biggest hits in NF history, one of them, because of who he was and how they went about it. Now, there's another hit that went down at that time related to this case. It just doesn't get as much attention, man. And I'm going to have Dreamer come on when he's back, and he's going to discuss more details about it. This is just going to be my perspective because I had this topic ready today for me and him to go over. And it's about Alberto Avila, right? He was a structure member. Okay, he hadn't been in prison since 93, but he was out there trying to earn his stripes, work alongside the regiment. As we know, during 1993, there was a lot of stuff going on in San Jose that caused a lot of what do you call underground activities to occur. A lot of people withdrew themselves from regiment activities. A lot of dudes flipped, and a lot of dudes got the death penalty. Okay, so now in regards to this, so what people don't really discuss too often is Beto was supposed to be involved first in doing the hit alongside with Dreamer. They attempted to do it on Brown Bob, and when they pulled up, the dog started barking, and Dreamer told him to shoot the dog, and it just became a whole catastrophe. I'm surprised that they even went back to do the hit. Now, when they went back to do the hit, okay, it was Dreamer and Bad Boy who actually ran up and performed and executed the hit. Okay, at that time, you had Beto that was the driver. Beto did what he was supposed to do. They met down the streets and kind of planned and orchestrated in some apartments. And from my understanding, they were eating Jack in the Box and other food, and some people just, left their wrappers out, which gave a DNA hit as to who was there, because there was witnesses that observed them in different locations. So after they did the hit, right, they met up at the spot. Chuka was content that it was done. They all split their different ways. Beto was supposed to actually either wipe the car down or burn it. Now, I know the little youngster who was still in that car at that time. I was in the 4th floor with him. Beto forgot to do the job. Now, they later on were partying. Beto, Bad Boy, Chuco Sancha, a couple other females, Dreamer, and whatnot over the hit that they did. And from my understanding, Beto ended up confessing that he forgot to wipe down the vehicle. And see, the thing about the situation is they already got a DNA hit based upon the Jack in the Box items that they were eating. Because of that, Bad Boy got really upset. Chuka got upset. And allegedly, there was filters that came down ordering the green light. Now, you tell me someone a green light has been implemented is two different things. Was this the regiment boss taking care of this, the commander, Chuka at that time, or was this coming from the higher ups? I don't know. We'll have Dreamer discuss more of that. But in any event, a green light was put on Beto. And so later on that day, they met at Chuco's Sancha's house, Nadine, right? And see, this is the thing after this hit. Bad Boy and Chuco got busted up, I believe, in San Mateo, right? Beto and Dreamer were still on the go at the time. And, from there, things started to get more interesting. Now, he had told Beto that they were going to go do a hit. They involved another youngster named Rudy Night Owl Moreno from San Jose, right? Night Owl should be hopefully out by any time now. Okay, so they elected to tell them that the hit was going to be up in the Mount Pleasant Hills, East Hills, up in that area. So as they're going up the hills by Mount Pleasant, right? Dreamer tells Beto to pull over. Okay. Beto is already kind of concerned, like, okay, like something may be up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's already has all those, flash signs of fear, warnings and whatnot. And he's just, you could tell it in his conduct and actions. And as they're going up there, he's offering to do the hit, you know. But then he makes a remark, and he says, "But if anybody's gonna kill me, I hope it's you, Dreamer." I guess Dreamer tells him to shut the fuck up. There was a pedestrian that had drove up and seen them and thought it was kind of odd. And then as they were coming back, they heard 5 gunshots, 5 to 6 gunshots, and um, he got some lead pumped in his head. He basically got shot. From there, Dreamer and Night Owl elected to run. Now they went back to the car, hoping that the keys would still be in the car, but the keys were not in the car. Beto had them on them. So next thing you know, both these individuals, Night Owl and Beto, had to run throughout the hills on the east side after they just did a hit, man. Now, the interesting thing about this hit was that it was based upon him not following directives or orders to wipe down the vehicle. That's why he was green lighted. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show what type of lifestyle that people live in that lifestyle, that just failure to acknowledge an order can get you killed, right? And Beto, regardless, they already had a DNA hit on all those involved because they were eating their fucking trash and someone threw the trash outside the vehicle. It didn't matter. They felt at that time that this was their only weak link to the case. So that's why Beto was killed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't for him being a coward. It wasn't for him doing anything kind of a contrary. It was for him failing to follow a directive that possibly could endanger the whole regiment. And see, that's the thing too, man, is if you endanger a household, a regiment, a crew, those are grounds to basically get hit, Now they're less inclined to do hits like that nowadays. And they don't put that type of restraints on people as much, but this is during a time era when there was a lot of hits going on in San Jose that were NF related, man. There's a lot of unsolved murders that occurred at that time that are also NF related, and this hit doesn't get the attention as much as Brown Bob because of who Brown Bob was, right? But this is basically a learning lesson though, man, that where this life could lead you. You could have a friend, right, who's down and solid, right, but make one miscue, one mistake, and next you know his life's on a platter to be served up, and it'll be your best friend or closest friend to you that's going to end up doing it. And this is a prime example. I think Beto at that time may have been 32, maybe. I think he was somewhere around that age. Dreamer was 26. Night Owl was 22. Now, everybody took pleas, life sentences. Dreamer, Chuco, and Bad Boy, to get Rudy Night Owl a term that he was supposed to get. He was supposed to get 17 years. I think they ended up giving him 32 or 33 years. Last time I seen Night Owl, I think we were in Salinas Valley around 2000, I believe it was. No, 2002. 2002, I was passing through and he was running the household there. And he pretty much ran down a little bit about his case, but I'm not going to talk too much about what he told me. In any event, though, man, this is a time era when hits were normal back in the days, man. Like, there's a lot more hits that occurred at that time than people realize. Stockton, Sacramento, East Bay. I mean, there was stuff going down that you guys would be shocked of that were supposed to occur. Hits on district attorneys, potential hits on potential witnesses. The NF was on a level at that time to where they were a killing machine, and they were trying to have that reputation be put back out there. See, you got to remember, during the indictments with Silent and Spankio and all them, Ronnie Lucky Shelton, that put a tarnish on San Jose. And the NF kind of activities went kind of underground. But if you also notice around that time period, you had 2 major hits that occurred at that time that pretty much changed a lot of leadership and directions. It was, the MC murder case and then the Brown Bob case. But there was also a couple other ones, Little Man Castaneda, Beto. These hits went down for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it, I believe, was that the NF wanted to put their name back out there on the streets at that time, that they're not to be played with. The NF is still in business. And this is what happens when you go against the NF. Because from the 70s to 90s, besides the 80s, there was a little bit of a dry period, you know. From 88 to 93, shit was cracking off a lot. A lot of hits were going down. 70s, we already know a lot of hits were going down. And so this was them trying to put NF back on the map. And see, this is a time period, I think, when I started to see a different transition inside the system where, you know, the NF's name was loosely being talked about. The structure was being talked about. It was being dismantled at that time, you know, and the whole direction of the people's movement was different. You know, shortly after this, Operation Black Widow hit. I was on the streets for that, you know. And Operation Black Widow was also another thing that changed things that people don't realize. And all these cases were involved. The MC murder, Brown Bob, Beto, all those were added to the Operation Black Widow. They were all connected, as well as a couple other murders that were supposed to transpire. So, you know, if you really think about it, you know, the defacility dilemmas, the dismantling the NR, Operation Black Widow, and Brown Bob and MC's murders, these are things that changed the whole direction of the people's movement, of the organization. You know what I'm saying? Before, the movement was the movement. It was about the cosa. It was about the struggle. It was about the people. Now it was about the people, but being subordinate to the NF and doing their bidding. It became more about monetary gains as opposed to before. You had your options if you wanted to be, you know, involved in regimental activities. You didn't have your option. They had to fucking want you to function if you were in a C. You know, not every NR member was allowed to come out there and function on the streets. You had to go through a probationary period, and they would basically scope your activities to see if you were worthy. And that was based upon all the bad experiences they had with different individuals, you know. So they just was going through their own little struggle at that time. The MC murder happened. A lot of dudes fell out over that. The fucking internal conflict between C's over there in Salas, Texas, and Cuete. You know, so all these things had a lot to do with where the movement is today. Anyways, I thought I would talk about Beto's hit. I'm gonna have Dreamer come on to give you a little bit more details. It's unfortunate, man, but the lesson here is, man, there's nobody that's going to be 100% committed to backing who you are as a person. They're only going to worry about themselves when it comes down to it, man. And that's a corrupt lifestyle that sometimes people choose. With that said, your boy Flacco, I'm gone.